we got George Foundis,
Yes.
who was born in
Cairo.
in Cairo, okay, and your parents, Maria and Elias,
Elias Foundis.
right, and you've got a large family of brothers and sisters.
He must have been 6.
6 of you, large family, and you were only 5.5 years old when your parents decided to migrate to Australia. Why did they migrate to Australia?
Well, initially, they were gonna go back to Greece.
Yes.
Everybody else. My father wanted to go to New York,
Yep.
okay, because he was a merchant seaman thing. But my mother's cousins, who were Castellorisian, I don't know how they negotiated. They said to come to Australia.
Right. So, because the thing is,
In 1948, right? My big brother Taki came here. He went when he was 16. Worked in the fish and chip shop, Circular Quay, right? 48. The next year, they decided to bring
John,
right? If you keep John.
more fish and chips.
Well, I've taken the milk bars, fish and chips, take away.
So and then you came out with a family.
And then in 1951, right, for some reason, they probably gave me a story. Okay, we got nothing. So we came on I said the ship was probably a bit bigger than the Manly Ferry. It was an old,
Cargo ship.
It was an old, cargo ship. There was no cabins on it, right? Probably about 3 or 4 decks. And I said, now, on one side, it was a woman, get up with the kids, right? The other side was the men. My mother was in bed for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Never out of bed. Never 6 weeks she was there. Never got out. My father didn't worry about and I remember chlorine, you can smell the chlorine, get the old, the chlorine, and the spaghetti every day with the Chianti.
Was it an Italian ship?
Italian ship. Storms. I remember when we left. I remember that like yesterday. When we went to go to the ship, there was it was a rope, and it was going like this, and I was holding. I've got photos of that. I was holding my father's thing, walking up, and what else?
And you're
and on the ship too was a guy called Alex Cassavetes. Alex Cassavetes was a champion of Egypt in table tennis. And as I told you before, I was pretty handy in table tennis, So he was on the ship as well. And we threw 6 people overboard.
Oh, so 6. They passed away on the ship?
Well, they died,
Yes.
And I remember threw them over because what were they going to do with them?
Wow.
No fridges, right? Took about 6. Well, it took from Egypt, because we had to go to the, I think the Suez, Fremantle, Perth, yes, Melbourne. It took about 6 weeks.
Wow.
Not more.
Wow, because that was 1951.
Yes. And when we arrived here, down Woolloomooloo, right, it was raining just raining cats and dogs, raining, and my father just lost it.
That was your first impression of Australia?
Well, yeah, my father, he wanted to go back straight away, So I remember we go to Crown Street, they had Carlos, right, who it was Casa, occupied before Maltese, French and all that. Yeah. So we had, I remember, was chicken, just the chicken with potatoes and, and then eventually after an hour or so, or 2 hours, whatever, my brother says, "Para de the Switty," which is around the corner, Denham Street, So we still raining.
In the rain.
Of course, in the rain, yeah. So we opened up at Denham Street. Lino. Not that we had in Egypt. We had a nice apartment.
Nice apartment.
It was a Dux. But my father just Anyway, we saw the other part. Put it was a toilet extra. Excellently, you know, in the backyard of the toilet there, you know, yeah. Right? Echtje pano, lay. So we crept the stairs. There was one bedroom and a little bedroom. He beat his tongue. He said, well, you know, we're here now, you know, so we... I went back. Ilia, put your friend into the speak. Kalana, lay. I said, this for me, no. Look, he didn't know, you know, you have to, you know.
It was a new beginning, but it was all from the beginning again.
But he told me, but apart when we got there,
But your dad's you know, works a bit. He saves a bit of money and opens up the Paris Patisserie at Bondi.
At Bondi, yeah.
Wow, you know what I mean? So, and he was. You've got a story where he had all these, you know, European...
The best of the best. Eclairs, babades.
Yes.
Then you know.
But the unfortunate thing was Australians had no idea about this.
They just come and look at, you know, it was too rich for them, you know. So my brother said, look, Dad, this is not working. You're going to make rum balls, you're going to make pies, you know, you'll do all that. But I'll give them to them, you know, give them a try, you know, which they loved, you know.
Well, when it's free, it's okay, you know.
Yeah, but they still liked it because it was different
quality.
stuff,
It was quality. It was delicious.
But for some reason,
just didn't work out.
Well, you know, just in 6 months. But I said we could have bought the whole bloody building.
Yeah.
But
I think the Cypriot fellow Kumis hires your dad and he works in the Athena.
Athens cake shop.
Athens cake shop, that's right.
So he was there for quite a while, and they were not lovely people.
Yeah.
Then after that, my father discovered the Cafe Neo.
At Oxford Street.
Oxford Street.
Where all the Kazis hanged out.
And that was, you know, he'd go to Cafe Neo.
That's all right.
He used to wake up in the morning, make the salsa, create salsa, and Marigo February, go to Cafe Neo, come back. But in the meantime, we brought my sister out, my sister Beba, right? Beba with little Mary. So there's 3 people there, right? You can imagine now.
Oh, there was a hotel.
Yeah, but then. And then my Beba's, what we used to call it, Beba was Chrysanthi, her husband, he had a cousin, Vasili. So she came out too, right? So upstairs, we put a curtain up, right? So Vasili was in the there, mother and father. Dino, well, he was a black sheep, was never home, you know, he'd be out all hours. You know, and then Taki and John, but they were lucky. They got married to Figane, and you know.
Well, it's always a difficult.
That's
how you started in Denham Street.
You know, Denham Street.
And a lot of Greek families in Denham Street.
There was actually
at the time.
I said before there was Vivi Malaxis was Vivi Malaxis.
A neighbour.
Yeah, around the corner, Vivi Malaxis, Nick Malaxis. Up the top was Lucky Curious. There was some Kazis, and there was Jack Luris's mother and father. And you know, but and then of course I went to
Crown Street Public.
I went to Crown Street Public, but I was also an altar boy then at the church.
Yes, Sophia, altar boy.
Right, yeah. That's
where the Castellarisians went.
That's
Saint
right.
Sophia.
And that's where we used to, you know, I mean, we'd tell 13 years old, you know, we'd just see a girl, just say, you know, Greek school, Greek school. And then...
then you went to Cleveland Street High School?
Yeah, you know, I was pretty good actually. Mm-hmm. I missed out by 1 point to go to
Sydney Boys
High School, if it means anything, yeah.
Now after school you I went
as a clerk at
the transport.
Department of Motor Transport, yeah. I was there for a few years.
Okay, but an opportunity arrives, you know.
Yes. Peter Michelandos.
Yes.
Peter Michelandos was a hairdresser, you know. And because Peter was playing in a band as well, with my mate George Malaxis, I told you before, yes. Maria George Malaxis, who was very good friends with George. He put me on the right track. and little caperoni. But anyway, so when he told me about the hairdressing, I thought about it. You know, girl, you think says, well, it's going to be good. You know, you go. So look, Lee, have a sickie or something, and come and meet the boss. So I went into Double Bay. You know, I was 17, 18 years old. So the boss saw me. Well, Peter told me about it. I want a boy. I've got enough girls here. So it's up to you to start, you know.
And so for the next few years, you're a hairdresser at Double Bay.
Yeah, but I had to tell my father now. I told my mother first that I'm leaving.
The public service.
The public servants, you know, the clerk, you know, to become a hairdresser. You know, you got a good job. I said, well, anyway, cut the story short. I told my father eventually, you know. What can you say, you know?
You just accepted it.
But the funny story was, because I was always late for some reason, when I went to tech, right, I had to go to tech. Now for the first year, all I was doing was just watching, getting sandwiches,
sweeping,
cleaning. That's how it was. There wasn't, you know, and slowly. Now when I went to tech, right, I went there, and I was a little, you know, I was always still there, you know, so I was walking up the class. This lady comes, are you okay? I've got a class. What, hairdressing? Well, it's in there. All right, it's in there. So I opened up the little thing. There must have been about 100 girls there, or more. God. And there was one boy in the front. So, yes, Leo, George, yeah, come in, Malay. So I put my head down and went straight to the front and sat next to the guy. You know.
Very fun.
So the second year, right, I was very good. I was not bragging. I was very good with washing hair, you know. And I remember there was a lady called Mrs. Scott. The ladies used to take their clothes off and put a robe, you know what I mean? So she happened to be my first customer, right? Not my first. I went to behind her now, and I'm looking at her, Mrs. Scott. She was gorgeous, you know. I started shampooing her hair. Something slip, neck and a muskima, you know. Absolutely saturated, you know. The boss looked at me. He didn't say anything. No. Stefan, George is all right. It's my fault. My fault, you know. Cigar. I started going at night to doing hair colouring, and then I got clients, and you know, and.
But during the meantime, you've started this music.
In the meantime, I started guitar. I told you before.
Guitar for a little while.
With Theodore Clitty for about 6 months.
Yes.
I didn't know Lucky and John. Then the big brother Leo came one day at my place, right? And he said to Leo, yes, I knew Leo, you know. Leo, I want a drummer. Very sorry, okay, Leo. The person to Leo. I need one now. Leo, the next one drummer. He persisted. I threw guitar, no, guitar, with Theo. Ella meet my brothers, you know. So he took me down to Stanley Street. Right?
More Greeks in Stanley Street?
Not really.
Not really?
No, Italy.
Oh, Italian.
Yeah. But it was a nice area. Mafia there, you know. Oh yeah, and there was Palmer Street, you know.
Palmer Street had Greeks.
No, Palmer Street where all the girls were, you know.
Oh, all the girls were in Palmer Street.
Yeah. I mean girls, you know, the £2. You know.
Yes.
Not that we went there. So I walk in and there's Lucky. Well, I knew I should see him at school, you know. Lucky and John, you know. And Lee had drums there. I had a bit of an ear, so I don't remember precisely, but you know, tuku. And then I went to George Malax's again, you know, because George was playing, so I'd go around, you know, and
learn a bit.
Pick it up, you know.
Pick up a few things.
So Cigar. We built up a little repertoire. Leo used to take us everywhere to look at bands and maybe play a couple of songs. Just and slowly.
And you had music lovers too.
Well, the music lover was yeah.
In Newtown.
Yeah, that was the hall there, and we had different groups.
And you could get up and play there also.
No, we had a group then. Yeah, it was me, Lucky and John.
What was your first group's name? Your
Athenian Quartet.
The Athenian Quartet.
I don't know why. No, isn't it? After when I left the Greek stuff, I went to the other one. It was called the Aphrodites.
The Aphrodites.
With Leo Galalio. Yeah.
But you played with the Colonnades.
Yes.
You know, like
Now the Colonnades is a funny story. The Colonnades, in the beginning, they had a great group. Maria Venuti, Jaco Louris, they were the best of the best of the best. You know. They left. They were Figanoli. And then you had another group, they left, and then you got great musicians, jazz guys, you know, top musicians. The keyboard player, drummers, you know, really, you know. And I don't know how long, I don't remember. But Leo was very, he'd make, he said to him, can we have a Greek night one night? A Greek night. Yeah, okay. So, knowing Leo, it was packed. They advertised it, Greek night. He advertised it, well, tomorrow night we've got a Greek night. And it was me, Lucky and John Arapakis, playing the bouzouki, right? Which sometimes I anyway, I'll get there after, we were laughing. So we got up, besame mucho, our repertoire, I don't know, might have been 20 songs, right? But we played again. Special request, tell us. The boss went ballistic. The place was packed to the eyeballs. Packed. We had another one. And again, you know, success. The boss said, boys, when can you start? You've got, he said, look, they are good, but for some reason, we want you know. Yeah.
I can see a big decision coming up, George.
I had to leave hairdressing, you know. So here I am now. For the first few weeks, I was doing the both, you know, because I used to go and do girls' hair, you know. Actually, Terry Nicolai's sister, a lot of times I used to go and do her hair and some friends' weddings, you know. Like practice, you know, no, just practice. But for some reason, the boss came one day, George, I had to see you. Yes, he's still Milan, Stefan. Look, you must make a decision, hairdresser or drama, because I see you, you tired, you come late, no good, George. Think about it, but this can't go on, you know. You got to make a decision to one or the other, you know. Shit, here we go again. I thought about it. I'll tell my mother again, you know. I don't know, you know.
But you know, look, with your band.
You've got to.
Yeah.
So I've done that.
But you played.
And then we got some more mixes. You know,
on keyboards?
Some more mixes on keyboards.
But you played the colonnades, you played the bamboo.
The bamboo was something else. The bamboo was a great job there.
You played the Menzies, didn't you too?
The Menzies Hotel, of course.
Massive. And then you had this 6-week trek at Tahiti.
Yes.
Right,
yes,
you did all that.
That was something else.
That's something else too. So you got work coming, you know, everywhere.
Greek music thing.
But then you get into the Greek scene. How'd you get into the Greek scene?
Well, because I used to go around, you know, and I learned a bit of it, you know. And then, example, I go to Athena, right? And Sam Sarayanis, who was really had a beautiful voice. He played with my brother at Cafe de la Paix, right? Played there. He was playing there, and as soon as he see me,
I never affected that.
So you know, he was there, And then I'd go somewhere else and I'd get, and eventually, or Nikitas,
Saris.
Nikitas, yeah. Nikita wants to see you, So I went there, he says, George, we want you to come and play with us.
And where was he playing?
3 nights a week.
Vrachos.
3 nights a week. I said, how about or Tabasaki? He said, don't worry. I said, I don't want to take his job. Well, he's got to go anyway. He's cool. Well, he wants to go. He wants to start music. Learn Australia. Tell him to send him. Leonida said, listen, everything's got an end, eventually, everything, you got your own way. And that particular night, the money, I was looking at the money, I said, shit, this is unbelievable.
The Hartura.
And that's why a lot of people tell me, why didn't you sing? I said, look, because everywhere I went, there were singers, So, not that, but I don't know, I can sing, I used to do Moon River, I used to do a few songs, but constantly, but that's not, I said,
it's not your thing.
Because, no, it's not my thing at all, because everywhere I've done, there were singers. So if they're going to sing, I'm at the back, so I didn't worry about it, so, and I went there, it was just unbelievable, money, 3 nights. And then of course, 3 nights, left out.
And then the offer
Stavro came. They put the schoolers wants us at the theatre 7 days a week. Nikita didn't want to go because loyalty, but the rest of them wanted to go. Me, I said, well, I'll go with the flow, Went to the theatre, and that was the,
And lots
7
of
nights.
it.
Huh?
And lots of it.
Oh, right.
And tell me, what kind of a system was there? There was a Paragueya system where you had to sort of...
Yes, the numbers, yeah.
There had to be numbers.
Well, number one, but I'll give you an example, right? With Yaneli, right? Example, you'd say Parangilia for Vasili, that's it. But Vasili was Vasili, that's it, so we'd hurry him up, Oh, no. You might throw $20, right? But the next one was Leonardo, example, one of those guys, Up in the lights. Now, they throw
Hundreds of dollars. So you've extended.
So we extend that. Open the lights up, and we're looking at, and so this is insane. Left money, just money. Why
do you think people threw that much money away? Was it an expression? Was it what was?
Even the Greek guys in Greece, I've met all those drummers, they couldn't believe it. And,
you have a bit of a break, but you go to London for 3 months.
Now what happened was I'm sitting on the beach at Nelson Park,
Yep.
which was our stecky,
I think a ship goes past.
Vivi, and the Elizabeth goes past.
Yep, the ship.
I said to Vivi, you know what, mate, you ask him if you see, I said, I'm going. He said, what? You watch me, but bullshit. And I went to Andrew Vass,
The travel agency. And you booked your ticket.
Because I saw New Zealand, and I saw Tahiti, which I told you about Tahiti. I won't go down there because it's a long.
And then you went to
England,
New York, Southampton.
3 months in London.
You went to Greece, but you returned to us. You return again to Australia, and I think it's the late Caravas who asked Yannis who asked.
Now my father was telling me that
Caravas was looking for you.
With his other girl singer, and I want you. But because I heard he was difficult to work with, plus he was a great musician, he was the best of the Latin. He was one of the good ones of Latin and Greek as well. I was a bit my relation. Don't worry, Malay, he's good, So I met him.
But you're there when Mykonos opens up. You know what I mean?
What happened was they opened up Jackie and Ari. That didn't really work, with Tony Bauer and that, and then Mykonos opened, So
you were there when brother was South Cities, the legend.
South Sakis,
South Sakis.
he was one of a kind. Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
and you played with some famous singers like Xanthopoulos too, and
look, 20, 30 of them. But with Yannelis, we played with Barberakis, with go on and on and on and on. Yeah.
What was it like playing with some big names like that? Did you sort of connect with them? Were they nice to you?
Yeah. Most of them were nice. There was one guy who came, who was called Barberakis, you know. When I saw him, I said, this guy looks like a bloody gangster, you know. He was the nicest guy. But because when we saw him with Lucky, he looked, you know, the nicest guy. He wore black. He played the violin and thing up to Naxo, you know. Even my father-in-law, αυτός ο Ναξιώτης was good, you know. Αυτός ο Ναξιώτης καλός αυτός, you know.
And Xanthopoulos,
the best, lovely guy, lovely. Xanthopoulos, Cavadias, girl singers, and on and on and on.
I guess that you meet Patti.
Well, yeah. No, because what happened was, I was 30, right? Still single, you know.
Bachelor life.
You're a bachelor boy, yeah. My mother says, τι θα γίνει με σένα, τι θα γίνει μαμά. Όλοι μπερδευτήκαν να κάνουν παιδιά. Δεν έχει τίποτα. My brother came once, you know. Μου λέει Γιώργο, παρακαλώ, μου λέει μια κουρούλα, μου λέει κούκλα. Πού δουλεύει?
David Jones.
Grace Brothers.
Grace Brothers.
Και λέει Βαρβάρα, Γιώργο, μου λέει να κρύο νερό, μου λέει. So now I'm going to have a look. So I went to Grace Brothers, that time, you know. I was walking around, I saw her, you know, a little pretty little thing, and she was beautiful, you know, lovely eyes, lovely. Oh, that's nice, nice girl. Went back home, thought about it. Λέω, κάτσε να το σκεφτώ, τι θα σκεφτείς, μου λέει, θα πετάξει το πουλί, για να πούς λέει, you know. So I went again.
Second time?
Yeah, second time around. Yeah, I remember second time, I saw it again, yeah. Anyway, so I come back home. Leo, if I remember, Leo, okay. No, so they come to the Bazooka. They came to the Bazooka, and then I said, yeah, you know, I said, look, yeah, good. So I went to my father-in-law. I said, look, can I? Look, before Leo, can I take her out? Well, he dacht me verwacht, you know. So I was taking Patti out to with my friends. Then we got engaged, right? Engaged, at the wedding, and.
So yes. So, but the thing is, shortly after your marriage and you know your kids, your two daughters, you give up music.
Yeah,
is that because of family life, do you think?
Yeah. Well, I eventually made a decision because I stopped it. After a while, you know.
You had two kids, young kids.
I bought a taxi as well.
Your life changes there too. Tell me something.
I played with some Greek bands.
How did you and Patti give to your two daughters the Greek culture?
Okay, I was fortunate enough to have many jobs. I worked for Qantas Airways all those years, right?
Oh, okay.
So we travelled.
So you just go to Greece all the time?
And I enjoyed the Greek music because it was. Yeah.
Well, they've got a dad as a muser.
Both, yeah, of course, yeah.
Did you send the girls to Greek school, Greek dancing, and all that?
Yeah, of course.
And tell me something.
Tell me.
When you used to go to Greece, did you feel Greek? Did you feel
in Greece?
Yeah, in Greece. Whenever you used to go on holidays.
Yeah, well, put it that way. Look, even an Australian, I'll reverse it, right?
Yeah.
Say an Australian was born in Greece, which some are, you know, Australian born in Greece, or they're born in, you know. When they come to Australia and they've got Australian parents, well, they say, hang on. So it's the same thing. I felt, I said, because I'm born in Egypt, I felt that this is you know, history and everything. But again, Australia gave me everything. You know, we've got to be, you know, because one guy asked me a stupid question once, you know, I couldn't believe it. You know, I said, you know, this guy. He says, mate, what would happen if Greece is going to invade Australia? I said, mate, it's not going to happen, mate. I said, why are you telling me this? He said, not going to happen. He said, what would happen? I said, mate, it's not going to fucking happen, you know. He said, I'll tell you what, mate, I'll shoot, I don't care who's behind there. Does that answer your question? But, you know, I said, this is just insane question, you know. I said, it's not going to happen.
So, who is George Foundis? Is he Greek? Is he Australian? Is he a Greek from Egypt?
I'm a citizen of the world. That's the question. As Mel Gibson said, you know, Mel Gibson, of course,
yes,
was born in New York, you know.
Yeah.
But everything from here he started off. Yes. Without Australia, it'd be nothing, you know.
That's right.
When they ask him what you are, I'm a citizen of the world, so you won't offend anybody. It's like Hugh Jackman. I mean, people know that. Hugh Jackman, his grandfather was Greek, or great-grand, you know. So we're all, you know, everybody's got, you know. As I said before, because I asked once my mother, I said, why is your uncle called Carlos? It's Casa. It's Maltese and all that. No. Look, we're all here, mate, you know, Greeks. But this is a great country. You know. Yes, you agree? We're everything here. If you don't work, we'll pay you next year. We'll feed you, you know, like there's no, if you've got an emergency that, you know, that's how we're on a good wicket, you know. Still good, Australia, you know. If you want to make it, you can still make it, you know, yeah.
George Foundis, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.